Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along once again. I am Amanda, your host of the SmackDown review. Let's jump in, and before we do that, just say that Raw definitely was worth the watch this week. We got new tag champs. The Vision take the belts back from the Street Profits, and more importantly, we got our long-awaited CM Punk return, and he is the new champ, defeating Sami Zayn. Hurrah! After just 9 days. And that must mean that we now get Punk on SmackDown, which is just about as awesome as things get. The summer of Punk 2.0 is here. Right, let's get to it and review the SmackDown that aired 10th of July from Oklahoma City. And we start off with a recap of the events that we just talked about from this week's Raw. We got Nick in the ring kicking off the show, and he welcomes everyone to SmackDown and addresses the situation, which resulted in him having administrative or gardening leave or whatever the last week or so. He says that he was involved in an altercation with Gunther, and although he feels it was justified what he did, following mediation, he is reinstated. He says that brings us to the right here and now, and he brings out Punk, who gets an absolutely gargantuan pop. And how great is it to have him here on SmackDown? I mean, imagine you book your tickets for SmackDown maybe a couple of 3 months in advance, not really knowing who you're going to see when the WWE train rolls into Oklahoma City. And the week before, we get a massive title change, and you end up getting tickets to see CM Punk, which is just amazing. So no wonder he gets an absolutely huge reception from the crowd here in Oklahoma. Nick welcomes in to SmackDown and hands things over. Punk says he's always pauses before he starts talking as he wonders what he's going to say. He says 3 words come to mind here, which is "I missed you." He says that over the last 3 months, he's been negotiating with the powers that be to bring him to SmackDown. He said everything was brought forward a bit as Cody was taken out. Punk answered the call and came to take the title. He says, "Isn't it great to be alive on a Friday night as the champ or what?" And the crowd are absolutely off the chart for him and continue the CM Punk chants. He tells us that he's not like other wrestlers or champions. He says he's going to be there every week and defending the belt at any opportunity. He says that he likes to draw a target on his back, and he knows that this locker room is full of talent that want what he has. He says to everyone in the back, if you want it, basically come and get it. If you think you have what it takes, he'll defend with his blood, sweat and tears, and he'll do it for all the fans. He speaks to Sami, saying he read what he said on social media, and he tells Sami that he deserves a rematch, so he'll give him one. He tells Gunther that they're not strangers. He says, if you think you can beat me, come and get it. He speaks to Finn, saying that they have fought twice recently, and he says, if you want it, come get it. He also name checks Royce Keys, Priest, Trick Williams, and then we get out Cody. Of course, really, I'm sure we all knew we were going to get Cody out in this segment. He makes his entrance looking reasonably healthy despite the beatdown that he got on Monday, and he makes his way out to the ring. Cody asks him how his eye is, as Punk is sporting a shiner, presumably from the match on Monday. Punk says he's fine, but asks him what he really wants to talk about. Cody says there are championship matches that fall out of the sky, and there are some that have been building for years. Punk says, I guess you're talking about Punk versus Cody. He says he thought this match would be the main event at WrestleMania, but he doesn't think they can run from each other anymore. Cody says when he was champion, he told Punk just say when, and Punk says when. Cody says SummerSlam, they shake hands, so it looks like that match is made, Cody versus Punk at SummerSlam main event, which is really, really cool. I think I heard somebody say on another podcast this week that WWE are really focused on building this SummerSlam to be really more than usual, sort of second WrestleMania, as if things go to plan, Mania isn't going to be in the States this, I guess, next year. It's going to be in Saudi. So heard from other people's opinion is that WWE are going to build this as much as possible to make it a really massive show. So a really good opening segment for me. I'm never ever going to have a bad word to say about a Punk promo. He is without doubt the best, and it was a great promo, name checking all of the possible future stars he could face. Certainly built excitement, and what a great match to look forward to at SummerSlam. Awesome opening segment, 10 out of 10, no notes from me, and so bloody excited to have Punk on SmackDown. That, for me, increases the attraction of watching SmackDown every week to off the charts. We go backstage where Kathy has Jade and her B-card army disappointingly still hanging around the show, and she asks why Jade has requested a match with Bliss tonight. Jade says that Flair has caused her problems, so therefore she needs to make Bliss's life a living hell. Meechin chips in that you would think that Flair would know better after what they just did to her. Jade says she'll put on a show, but she isn't responsible for what happens to Bliss. Well, they have a problem with Flair, but they're going after what they perceive to be the weaker link in Bliss. I really hope Bliss kicks her ass later. I'm not going to rehash my comments. I've said them for weeks now. You all know my thoughts on Jade and her B-card army, but yawn. Let's see what happens in the match later. The interesting angle is the Bliss-Flair angle and their possible impending breakup. First up tonight for in-ring action is Balor versus Tama Tonga, and this is a follow-up of their backstage agginess last week and continues the angle of Tama getting rid of all his past baggage, or what he perceives to be past baggage, and this should be a decent match. This one kicks off with Finn in charge, but the ginormous Tala making his presence felt at ringside by distracting Finn, handing the momentum to Tama. As predicted, this is a great match. Finn is so impressive in the ring, and I much prefer him as face, and the crowd also seem to be loving this one. This one finishes up as Balor hits the coup de grace on Tama and takes the win. A really, really great match. These two work brilliantly together. Pun totally intended, but what a coup to have Finn over on SmackDown. And great creative to have him separate from the Judgment Day, at least for now. We go to Kathy Kelly backstage. She's got Melo with her. She asks him after shooting his shot last week. She says, Trick says you have to prove that you deserve the title shot. He interrupts Kathy, tells her Yachty is a great sidekick for Trick, as all his songs have been features. I'm not completely sure really what that means, but I think it's a burn anyway. He says to Trick that maybe he did come up a bit short, but he is tired of being overlooked. He says Melo don't miss, and tonight is his moment, and he will show Trick that he is him. Personally, I hope we do see Trick versus Melo as a title match at some point, possibly SummerSlam. I would love to see Melo get the title back and resurrect the Open Challenge. We get a backstage bit where Truth is paying up a bet to Axiom and saying that he can't believe that the USA lost. Yes, despite your president trying and succeeding to cheat on your behalf. Fraser says better leave the football to the Europeans, and I have to agree in what has been an epic week for transfers for my club at least. We get the Viking Raiders next, or the War Raiders as I think they're known now. They come in and they want an answer on the match that they proposed to Priest and Truth. We then get Jimmy Uso come in. He's looking for Solo. Fatu is looking for Royce, and Truth claims he hasn't seen him, but Priest tells him that he's here. And then we get Fatu and Jimmy heading out to the ring. We get Nick backstage. He's on the phone to Sammy, who is apparently on a mental health break. We then get Gunther come in, who is mad as hell that Cody faces Punk at SummerSlam, and he says he wants the opportunity to be in the ring with either or both, and he doesn't care how. He gives Nick till the end of the show to fix it, and there is definitely still plenty of beef between these two, and I do think we're going to get a match between them at some point, and for me, I am pretty excited to see that. We go right to the ring where we have Big Jim and Fatu. Jimmy says the only reason they're on SmackDown is for Solo, and he calls him out. Instead, we get Royce Keys. He gets to the ring and Jimmy tells him that he doesn't look like Solo and what the hell are you doing here? Royce says he's got an issue with them keep mentioning his name, so here he is. Royce says that he guesses he's here to sort out family business, but he says the family business is starting to affect everyone. Jimmy says tonight is all about OTC business. Royce says the OTC who isn't here. Fatu steps up and tell him we're tight. Let's keep it like that. He tells him you can say anything about anyone, but when it comes to the OTC, please don't go there, which is very restrained for Fatu. Jimmy says to him you aren't part of the family. Royce says blood doesn't make you family, loyalty does. He says their family has brother fighting brother, cousin fighting cousin. He says he doesn't have any family, but for the last 14 years, Fatu has been his brother and he refuses to let him fall. Jimmy tells him if he crosses a line he can't come back from, he's going to regret it. Royce says that he didn't come here to fight, but he steps over the line anyway. Jimmy starts kicking off, saying you think you can beat me and Jacob, we'll put a massive beat down on you. Before he can go on with his rant though, Fatu stops him and he says we, there isn't a we, this one's on you, I'm out, and he leaves the ring, leaving Jimmy and Royce face to face. Jimmy says fine, tells Nick to send out a ref, and they get to it. We have a ref and Jimmy gets his ass handed to him early on. We get back from the break and those two are going at it, with Royce continuing to beat down on Jimmy. We then, not to anybody's shock or surprise, we get Solo appearing behind Jimmy mid-match, looking like he's about to attack him. That brings out Fatu, and we get a little brawl at ringside, which Fatu seems to win. Back in the ring, Jimmy spears Royce off of the distraction of the shenanigans and gets the win, which is disappointing for me. Post-match, the beatdown between Fatu and Solo continues, and we do get Fatu finally turn on Royce, which I don't think is much good. I did think that Royce was the one who was going to be turning Fatu away from the family dark side. Fatu stops beating down Solo just as he's about to deliver a chair shot round his neck. Tells him that this Monday he better show up for the bloodline or next time he won't stop. So I'm guessing that we are probably going to get Solo appearing on Raw. I don't know what we're going to see. Solo is clearly all by himself now. So I guess we're going to have Solo rejoining the bloodline. I've said what I think about the rehashing of the bloodline storyline. I'm not into it. I've never really been a Roman fan, so I find all this extremely meh, having literally just lived through Roman's long reign of boring terror. Especially here, as they seem intent on painting Fatu as an absolute wiener, which we all know he isn't. So desperately hoping that there is something a little bit more coming from the Fatu angle in this storyline. Anyway, we carry on. We then go back to Kathy. She's a busy bee as always. She's got Punk backstage. She asked him for his thoughts on Sammy's outburst and also Gunther's comments earlier. Punk says he hopes everyone is upset because he wants them to get in line behind Cody and he wants them to fight for the title. He's interrupted by comatose Johnny, pushed in by Candice. She tells Punk that Johnny is the voice of the voiceless and he was the hope for everyone. Punk has stolen that hope. Punk tells her, good, get back into the ring, get back to what they do best, both of them. He then bumps into Finn, who welcomes into SmackDown. Now, that's cool. I like Finn Punk angle. I'm not completely sure what the deal is with Johnny. Maybe he is going to come back to life at some point. I hope so, because this shtick is getting old in the way that it was never, ever really interesting at all. Johnny being in a coma. Johnny Gargano is one of the finest technical wrestlers that we've seen in WWE in recent years. He hasn't been booked particularly well since he came up to the main roster. Equally, neither was Tommaso Ciampa, which is obviously probably why he's now been let go. They need to do something good with Johnny. Maybe something is brewing. I really hope so, because as I said, he's a great talent, and I would love him to get back to his Johnny wrestling days, as Punk said tonight. As for the Finn angle, yes please, just form that line behind Punk. The possibilities with him now on SmackDown are endless and awesome. Next up here, we have got Bliss versus Jade, but before we get to that, we got a promo from Fatal Influence who say how great it is, how great it was to see Brie destroyed last week, and they're going to take the titles off Brie and Paige next week at Saturday night's main event. Now, for me, that should be an absolutely epic match. I won't mind at all if Fatal Influence take the titles. I think it's probably time for them to be handed on, and I've really liked them since they came up to the main roster. They have been booked impeccably, in my humble opinion. Now back to this match, Bliss versus Cargill. Bliss gets her usual gargantuan pop. She is just still so over with the crowd, and on the other range of the spectrum, we've got Cargill out to a very muted response. And whilst physically this looks like a huge mismatch, Jade arrogantly, as per, underestimating Bliss turns out to be a huge mistake. And although her power does pay off eventually, Bliss is just awesome. We get some shenanigans from both B-Fab and Flair and Meechin, leaving us a near pin for Bliss as Flair tries to take out the Big Hard Army. Off the distraction though, Jade hits Jaded and takes the win. Ugh. I literally can't bear this for very much longer. Post-match, we get Meechin bringing a chair into the ring whilst Flair desperately tries to save Bliss but is overwhelmed. Jade hooks Bliss's arm up in the chair in a move that does not look good. I mean, kudos to Bliss for trusting Jade to pull off a move like that with the reputation of being as botchy as Nia. To do a move like that is brave. It looks horrible. I don't know if it was real or not, but let's see, knowing what we know about Jade and her quote-unquote talent in the ring, it's quite possible that actually did go wrong and genuinely did actually hurt Bliss. I've seen since some Instagram pictures of some pretty horrific bruising on Bliss's arm. Maybe that is just a result of what they were expecting it to be, expecting the move to be anyway. I don't know. I've never been in the ring in my life. But it looked pretty nasty. So I think we are headed towards an angle where Bliss is quite badly injured in storyline. So let's see. I mean, honestly, in what world could the B-Card Army, B-Fab, who started off with, I can't remember the name of the group. It had like, I can't remember. It was a group with guys. I can't remember any of their names now. It's very hot here. But started off with them as just a mouthpiece. Then she randomly moved to the Street Profits for I don't know what reason. No reason really. As a mouthpiece. And then she finally moved into in-ring action. And she's not terrible in the ring. But she's not great. She's kind of Maxine Dupree level for me in the ring. Probably even one step below her. And we've got Meechin, who no doubt has talent, but has never really been used particularly well. Again, she's been in and out of various factions, but really, both of them, even with the numbers game, both of them versus Flair, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. That's really all I've got to say, and I find it really, really difficult to watch because Flair and Bliss are awesome. We get a Trick segment. He's looking for his title. And turns out the little Yachty has taken it away and had it made into a legacy title, which has got white fur on it. Sorry, Trick is good, but he ain't Cena. Does he really deserve a legacy title right now? Nope. Hopefully that means he is going to be losing that title sometime soon. We get that match now, which is Melo versus Trick. And this one, if you remember, was set up last week between when Trick, Melo and Yachty had a little promo between them, and Melo wants a match for the title, and basically Yachty says you can have a match, but you have to deserve a title match. So we're kind of assuming that if Melo wins this match, maybe he'll be in a position to get a title match. So that was the setup from last week. It kicks off and we've got Trick in charge early on. But the ticker says that we've got 20 minutes left, so I think this one is going to be a slow burn. We also get a shot of Ricky Saints watching backstage, so possibly some interference from that angle as well. Now, truth be told, this really is a great match, and we get Melo taking out Little Yachty. It looks like we are going to get a Melo win as he goes up top, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. We get interference from Baron Corbin. Now, it's a heatwave here in the UK, and yes, this feels like a throwback fever dream, but Corbin is back in the WWE. He forces a DQ finish and proceeds to beat down Trick in the ring. He delivers a double end of days to Melo and Trick, and there is just general shock as the crowd chant, "Holy shit, Corbin has the new Vile title in his hands." Well, did anyone have Corbin returning on their 2026 bingo card? I did not, but I don't mind it at all. He looks in great shape, and you can call me well and truly invested in this US title picture now. Title on Corbin, SummerSlam, yes, please. Let's see if they can make this run for him work. I like him. He's big, he's heely, and he's got a good moveset. So let's hope they can do a little bit more with him. Honestly, this was a real shock. I might just be out on my own here, but I hadn't seen any potential spoilers of him coming back. I hadn't read anything that he was in the ether. So, I mean, maybe I'm on my own there, but this has passed me by. I love a surprise. I love a return on a random SmackDown. For me, happy days. This is great. Baron Corbin on SmackDown 2026. Brilliant. Next up, we've got Gunther in the ring, and he wants some answers off Nick, and I'm not sure this is going to go the way Gunther expects it to, but let's see. Gunther says that he's given Nick time, and he calls Nick out and asks him his decision. Nick says that he's had time to think, and in spite of everything, he has decided he's going to give Gunther exactly what he wants. He says he can have Cody. He says he can have Punk. He says he can have them next week at Saturday night's main event when he teams up against them with Sami Zayn. Gunther is absolutely raging at this. He is definitely not happy. And Nick says he knew Gunther would turn out to be a huge pain in the arse when he signed him to the brand. And with that, Gunther attacks Nick, beating him down big time in the ring. He applies the sleeper hold and is pulled off by the officials, but it continues. There are massive boos in the arena for this. Nick is struggling as Gunther continues to beat down, and he repeatedly keeps going back to Nick, putting on the sleeper hold, going back to Nick, putting on the sleeper hold, as the producers and referees seem completely unable to get Gunther off. I mean, honestly, if this was happening in real life, just give him a little kick in the head or a kick in the bananas. Do you know what I mean? But they are really poorly kayfabing this and grabbing at his shirt as opposed to trying to grab any of his limbs to try and stop him doing what he's doing. We go off air pretty abruptly. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of social media follow-up for this, as Cody comes out pretty slowly, takes his jacket off on the way to help Nick. He's not in a massive rush to help him, but he knows he should. And that's how we go off air. So as I said, I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of social media follow-up. So first things first, this Nick Gunther thing certainly seems to be happening, and I think that's awesome. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of stipulation here. Will it be something like if Nick loses, he leaves, sort of furthering the Gunther career killer BS angle that we all know I don't believe him. And maybe if Gunther loses, he has to go to Raw or something. I wonder if Nick will win. I hope so. I think maybe it's time for Gunther to switch brands again. He can go feud with some different people. Maybe Roman Reigns. That would be quite interesting. So hoping for Nick win if that match happens. Is it going to be as soon as Saturday night's main event? Didn't look like Gunther was in any way willing to team up with Sammy, certainly, so maybe there's a hole there. So maybe Gunther Nick is going to happen Saturday night's main event. Let's see what develops there. So as for the rest of the show, I'd say a solid okay. I love Punk, and having him on the show is epic for me. Cody versus Punk at SummerSlam is awesome. The Bloodline angle I am finding unbelievably dull, and I really hate what creative are doing with Fatu. I think they are ruining him. That's a story that is as old as time. Shock. I give you LA Knight. I give you, a million other talents that have got themselves organically over. Creative seem to always want to put the brakes on, and they just want things how they want them. They're not really happy to let stories organically unfold, it feels like, at the moment. So I'm really unhappy that the WWE creative seem to be ruining Fatu, unless there is going to be a huge swerve down the line. And unless somehow, this has all been a bit of a really elaborate bluff from Fatu, and actually he's going to turn around and really, really screw the Bloodline. How is he going to do that? I've got no idea. Is there a secret deal between him and Solo? I'm really, really, really hoping that there is more to this than meets the eye. I fear there isn't. I fear we are literally just going back to the scripts of 3-4 years ago, changing a few names around, and, bada bing, bada bong, there we go. We've got a brand new rehashed Bloodline storyline, which makes me mad and also sad. Jade and the B-Card Army, I think I've said enough about that. I'm over it. I hate it. Let's just, disband them, send them down to NXT, leave Meechin up, send Jade and B-Fab down to NXT, make them better, and then have them back at some point in the future, or not. I don't really care. So we build first Saturday night's main event, which is next week, Madison Square Gardens, which is going to be a pretty big event, I think. And then the big one, which is obviously SummerSlam in a few weeks, which is already shaping up pretty epically. So that just about does it for this week's show. Thank you for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, to be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.